Hello, 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 everyone. It is 12 noon, and we are here in the new home of the Pivot Room with Dr. Malika. So I'm excited to be here, and I hope that you are too. I am looking forward to sharing with you some information that I know is going to help you, especially my women 50 and over. But not only that, it's not just about information, but I want to provide you with a community where 50 plus women can come and can connect, learn, share, and so much more. So I want to welcome you to the Pivot Room. One of the things that you need to know is that I am Dr. Malika Turner. I am a reinvention specialist or strategist, sorry, reinvention strategist. And I help women 50 plus reinvent themselves, or as they say, that second act, right? Help you transition into the second act. I'm a speaker, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also the founder of Go Be Great and Be Nothing Less, which is a motivational merchandise, but it's more than that. It's also a movement. And so, in just about anything that I do and say, it's always, I want you to go be great and be nothing less. You can check out my website, which is gobegreatglobal.com, and feel free to check out that website and all of the services that I provide. There's some motivational stuff there. You can also shop, but you will see what Go Be Great Global, Go Be Great and Be Nothing Less, the Pivot Room, and some trainings also are there for you. So I'm excited to be here. Just to give you some history. In 2023, in July, I unexpectedly lost my job. I was a student affairs professional and worked in higher ed for a long time, working with students, and unexpectedly lost the job and immediately began to say, okay, what's next? I gotta do something. I gotta move. I gotta do something. And so I began to trademark things. I began to start creating anything that I could to bounce back quickly. But I really didn't have a lot of direction. I just wanted to continue moving. Um, and I was reintroduced to AI through the queen of AI, Alicia Little. Shout out to her and AI Innovision, as well as Lorette. Shout out to these powerful women who basically sort of put the pieces back together for me. My doctorate is in communications, media, and instructional technology. And so to be able to put that back together, to be able to say, okay, wait, this is communication, this is technology, this is creativity, this is me, this is what I enjoy. But I still had to figure out what my next was. And long story short, I found that um, I wanted to fill the gap for women who had experienced what I experienced, meaning 50, 50 plus, and running into this unexpected event in your life that you weren't necessarily prepared for. Um, but but you still want to continue to move. You're not old enough to retire and just chill. You still have some creativity, you have passion work inside of you, and to be honest with you, you just have uh God has just given you something else beside what you had been doing. And so for me, I'm excited to be able to provide an opportunity for women 50 plus to have a community like the Pivot Room where we can discuss, where we can grow, where we can learn and grab a hold of information that is going to help as you reinvent yourself. So, on today, we're talking about something that has completely changed the game. It's a game changer. It has changed the rules of career success, and that is visibility as the new resume. So when you think about it, we've been taught to um, work, volunteer, and all of the things, and then jot that down in an organized, formatted fashion on paper and ensure that it tells your story on paper, so that someone recognizes you and says, you know what, she's a great fit. And, we've been taught to work hard. We've been taught to keep our head down, get the degree, build the resume. And eventually, like somebody's going to see what you do and they're going to say, hey, they're going to call you. But in 2026, things are changing. Ladies, the most qualified person doesn't necessarily get the opportunity. The most visible person often does. I can't tell you how many times I've seen um, folks who are like, how did they get that? Like, how did they? Because they're visible, they're putting themselves out there. There's a level of vulnerability there, and they're saying they're positioning themselves intentionally. And so the most visible person, you know, gets that opportunity, gets that phone call, that message, right? So here's the thing. Visibility doesn't mean, you have to be an influencer. Right? I don't necessarily I am not an influencer. I'm not pushing a product. But what I am pushing is what I offer and my ability to be able to help you, individual, or you, woman 50 plus, or you, organization, with the gifts and the abilities that I have. So it's the idea of becoming discoverable, right? So, this whole idea that um, I have to be careful about being too visible. No, visibility means being discovered. And it means making sure that people know your expertise and that you exist. Excuse me. And for women over 50, this conversation is more important now more than ever. Excuse me. You got love, gotta love going live. um, but because we have experience, we have wisdom, 50 plus, we've been in the workforce, we have careers, we've fallen down and gotten back up. Many of us, we've been taught to wait, right? Um, Wait until somebody sees you and then go, right? But we need to be intentional. We need to position ourselves, and visibility, it is the key. So today we're going to talk about ways in which visibility can have a positive impact on your future, on your reinvention process, on your journey. You have something to offer. You are not only great at what you do, but you are great on what you don't know you can do. It is in there. And now is the time to make notice, right? To unveil who you are, what you bring to the table, the gaps you fill, and this is the time to become visible. Because there's an organization out there looking for you. There's an individual out there looking for you, right? So here's the first thing we need to understand is that the world has really changed, right? So I want you to think about this question. How many times have you, maybe you've hired someone, maybe to do some freelance, you've booked someone, maybe you, in your organization, you've invited someone to speak for a program, or you followed someone online because you saw them before you met them. Like you don't even know who they are, but you saw them and you said to yourself, "Ooh, let me reach out." And I've done that at many times for my podcast, Pivot with Dr. Malika. Um, and I've reached out to folks. I've, said, you know what, I like what I see. I like what I see. I like what they offer. I do a little research, but I said I like what I see, and I've reached out to them to be on the show. That is visibility. And today, listen, we're being Googled, we're being searched, right? Clients are searching, employers are searching. Podcast hosts, they're searching for you. Recruiters are on here or on LinkedIn. So your digital presence often speaks before you do. Think about that. Your resume used to speak for you. And it at least opened the door. But now you don't need a resume to open the door. Your online presence is speaking for you. And it is not only opening doors, but it is causing folks to write checks. And we, women over 50, we need to be a part of that. And we need to make ourselves visible in order to be a part of that. You see, 20 years ago, your resume, it sat in a folder, but today your reputation lives online. It is online. And so, when you think about your LinkedIn profile, your posts, when you comment, your website, it's interesting. I was thinking about that on my website, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, my website really needs to reflect me. It needs to reflect who I am. And so what did I do? I had to invest. So let me see if I can pull it up here. I said to myself, I must invest in my website. I must invest in when people come to my website, they need to be able to see who I am and what I bring to the table. And so now when you go to my website, it is clear that I'm a keynote speaker, certified AI consultant, reinvention specialist. I work with women 50 plus. And I had to be, so when you go to gobegreatglobal.com, you will see that, boom, this is what she does. It's right there in front of us, right? Right there in front of you. And so that was important to me. So how we show up on our podcasts, on our website, uh, uh, podcast appearances, when someone asks you to speak, what are you saying? Because that is your resume, your visibility. Say that with me. My visibility, my resume is my visibility. My resume is my visibility. It positions me. My visibility positions me. And so that's critical. So all of these things create a picture for what people see and who you are. And that picture is either helping you or it's hurting you. And a lot of times it's hurting you when you don't have enough out there or when it is inconsistent. And and that's the thing, really working hard to be consistent in what people see. So the question is, what story is your visibility telling? What do people know about you? If you are on LinkedIn, what do people know about you? How do you show up? Okay, on LinkedIn. So, sometimes I show up a little differently in Instagram. My family is, I'm on with my family. I post different ways. Facebook, I'm very active in my church. And so I'm doing some different things there. But when I'm on LinkedIn, I want to be that is the consistent reinvention strategist me. That's me showing up there. And so what do people see when they see you online? And the thing is, many women in our generation, and we are, let me see, I'm 50 something. We are, those of us in our 50s, we're Generation X, right? So in our generation, we were rewarded for for doing well, excellence, right? But not necessarily visibility. We were taught to be humble. Don't go in there loud. I God rest my grandmother's soul. She would always say, "Don't be loud. Now come in here and sit down somewhere." Right? Don't brag. Let your work speak for itself. To some degree, I understand that whole concept, right? And humility is valuable. Being humble has its place. Don't get me wrong. So don't kick humility out the door. But invisibility can cost you in today's world, right? I've met women who are phenomenal, amazing women. They are working every day. They are taking care of their families. They are supporting their husbands. They are earning degrees. They are, managing $1 million projects. They are traveling across the globe. They are starting businesses. They are working in their church on Sundays and their civic groups on Fridays. But here's the thing, nobody knows who they are. And nobody knows their story. Not because they're not, they're unseen. Let me just say this, being visible, it it's not arrogance, right? It's a gift. It's, God gave you a gift, God gave you experiences, God gave you expertise. But if there isn't anyone out there who knows that you even exist, how can you make an impact? Right? So so I shared with you in the beginning how when I lost my job, I was reintroduced. And I say I was reintroduced because I believe while I was working, I attended a workshop that Alicia Little facilitated. And then I kind of, just didn't continue with it. But one of the things that I found was that I was reconnected with Alicia Little and AI. And it just really made a difference for me because it helped me to see that this is where I can be my creative me. This is where I can take all of those creative things in my head and produce something, not just for me, but for others, right? Or organizations. The thing with AI is it helps me to see that there's so much more out there that I can do. So I want to introduce this to you for some. I want to share this thing about AI. It's changing how people find information. It is. When people ask, who should I hire? Who should I follow? Who is the expertise in this area? The content that exists online becomes the answer, right? So think about it. Think about that. If you have no content, no video, no article, no thought leadership, no digital footprint, no presence anywhere, right? You become invisible to both the people and the technology. And so, I don't want you to fear. Don't fear AI. Use it. That's what I'm learning because I hear a lot of fear talk out there. Use it though. Learn it. Figure out how you can take it and leverage it, right? How can it how can you take it and use it in a way that impacts others? That's what we're talking about. How can you use it to not only create content, but do some brainstorming? I have done more brainstorming on ChatGPT than I think I ever have. How can you take it and help you to write articles or improve your LinkedIn profile? What are some of the things that you can do? Listen, it's not replacing you, it's amplifying you. It is here to amplify you. And I want you to change your framing when it comes to AI, right? So what I want to do is just kind of share with you ways that you can increase your visibility. Even let's say today's Wednesday, right? Yes, today's Wednesday. Let me see. Okay. Today's Wednesday. Okay, so we've got Wednesday, we've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay. And to me, Sunday starts the new week. But so we got Wednesday after this is over. We've got Thursday and we've got Friday and Saturday. So you could do a little bit today. But okay, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Here's the deal. I want to give you some things that you could do for the rest of the week that could help increase your visibility. Okay. And they're not hard. You don't have to go and hire someone, but you just have to do it. Okay. There might be a learning curve, but you can do it. So the first thing I'm going to suggest is that you optimize your LinkedIn headline, right? Don't just list your job title. Oh, I care about your title, honey. We want to know what you can do for me. How can you help me? How can I write out a check for you? Can you do something that we can't do? Right? Tell people the value that you create, right? So optimize your LinkedIn headline. What does it say right now? Think about it. What does your headline say? Does it tell of your value or your job title? And that's something you want to change. Okay, it's going to increase your visibility. Number 2, share one lesson that you learned. What have you learned? Right? Post one lesson from your career journey, right? People connect with stories. I love a good story. How did you get where you are? What lesson did you learn? And let's not despise those small beginnings, right? Or maybe I fell, and here's what I learned when I got back up. But share one lesson. You can do that, right? The next thing I think that's important is to comment. Comment. You don't know how valuable, I didn't even know how valuable it was to comment. Okay. You don't have to even create content, just comment. So maybe you say, so today, when you jump off here and you take some time to go through LinkedIn and kind of see how you want to, maybe you say, today I'm going to go, and there are a couple people that I follow, and I think I'm going to comment, and engage, get in on this conversation, right? Get in on the conversation. What can you offer? What do you know? And comment. Okay. The fourth thing is update your profile photo, right? People trust people. You want to show up professionally, but like update it, right? With AI, there's so much that you can do to be creative and still show up professionally, right? So that's another way that you can increase your visibility. And then lastly, and this is my favorite, and I think it can be a challenge, but become known for something. For something. Become known for something. Ask yourself, what do I want people to associate with my name? And I will be honest with you. I struggled. I struggled with this whole idea of, what do I do? I have a podcast. I'm an author. I have a motivational clothing brand. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I do. I'm a minister at my church. I sing on the praise and worship team. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I mean, like, what do I do? And suddenly I went beyond, what do I do? What value do I add? How can I help others? How can I take my experience and help others? And some of you may be saying, you worked in higher ed. You could go and speak at colleges and universities. I probably could, but I've always been passionate about helping women. Always. Always been passionate about helping women. And so as a 50 plus, right? As a woman who is 50 plus, who's lost their job and had to figure out what's next, and learning that 600,000 women lost their jobs in 2025, and I think there were about 300,000 of them were Black women. I said to myself, how can I help? What can I do? And that's when it dawned on me. Reinvention, because that's what I'm doing. And I want to be able to help women who are 50 and over do it, right? So here's the question. I want to leave you with this. If someone searched your name right now, today, would they discover the person you're becoming? Or would they only discover the person you've been? Because reinvention, it requires visibility. That is critical. The opportunities that you want cannot find the version of you that's hidden. You have to come out of the shadows. You have to. So here's what I want you to remember. I want you to remember that your resume tells people what you've done. Your visibility tells people what you can do. I want to say that again for the people in the back, okay? Your resume will will tell people what you've done. But visibility, your visibility is going to tell people what you can do. And in today's world, visibility creates opportunity. It does. You don't need millions of followers. You just need to get out there and go. You need to know who you are, what you offer, your value, and you need to be consistent. You need to be credible. People need to be able to speak well of you. And sometimes it requires a little bit of courage, to be honest with you. It ain't easy. It is not easy to go out here and be visible. Okay? But the world needs to know what you know and what you do and the value that you bring. And when I say world, there's a big world, there's a globe, but there's a world out there. There are people out there waiting for you to share your story, to provide your services, to share with them how you can bring value and fill in the gap for them. Don't make people guess that. Don't make people guess. Show them. Show them who you are. Show them what you can do. So listen, I want to thank you for showing up. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for being here in the pivot room. Um, I'd love to hear from you. So after you watch this, I want you to drop one word in the comments. Like, what is one thing that you will do this week or the rest of the week to increase your visibility? What's one thing that you will do to increase your visibility? And the other thing is this, if today's conversation challenged you, like imagine where you will be after 52 Wednesdays. So we're just going to hang out every Wednesday at noon. That's exactly why I created the Pivot Room. And every Wednesday at noon, we're going to come together. We're going to tackle some conversations that will help women 50 plus reinvent, thrive, lead, be confident, show up, and all of the things. So I want you to mark your calendar. I want you to follow me here on LinkedIn. And I just look forward to seeing you next week. Now, just so that we're clear, I want to make sure that you check out my website, www.gobegreatglobal.com. Okay, that's me. So I want you to check out the website for sure. And also tell someone about this. I know you know people who need to know about this. Women 50 plus who are out there trying to figure it out. Don't let them figure it out by themselves. Don't let this be, a secret. Tell some others and join me next Wednesday at noon in the Pivot Room.